Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane Page Puncher 3-inch scale Batman with comic book 2-packs. This is the newest wave, and it's been a really long time since they've made any of these things. We have a Dark Knight Returns pack with a comic and Batman and the Joker. Then we have a Dark Knight's Metal pack with a comic, and then Drowned and Murder Machine. I got these from McFarlane Toy Store, so let's take a look. They're in the transparent clamshell. At the top, you can see DC. McFarlane Toys includes comic book. You can see the comic in the background, that infamous Dark Knight Returns image. Then we have the battle-damaged Batman and the Joker in his white outfit. At the back of the comic, there's the barcode. And then we have a Dark Knight's Metal. Batman of Earth -44 and Batman of Earth -11. The Drowned and Murder Machine. Basically, this is Aquaman Batman Hybrid, and this is a Cyborg Batman Hybrid. Dark Knight's Metal. See the comic? It's Dark Knight's Metal #2. There's the barcode. So with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that you got these figures and comics out of the package, here they are laid out in front of you. We have the Dark Knight Returns Battle Damaged Batman and the Joker, and then the Dark Knight's Metal, Murder Machine, and Drowned. They both come with a comic, Batman, the Dark Knight Returns, I believe #2, the Dark Knight Triumphant, and then Dark Knight's Metal #2. In this video, we'll take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their lack of accessories, height, and articulation. We'll check out the comic, and we'll compare them with some other DC Page Punchers. So let's take one set at a time, and let's start off with the, I think, slightly cooler set, the Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Metal figures are cool as well, but you can't beat Batman the Dark Knight Returns. So, here's a look at the Dark Knight Returns set. These are McFarlane Page Puncher figures, and they're the 3-inch scale. Super, super small. Normally, I would pass on something like this, but action figures and comics together, yeah, it is right up my alley. They're almost like shrunken down versions of the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, but not exactly, because their articulation is cut so much smaller, the details a little bit less. We do have a Dark Knight Returns Battle Damaged Batman and a Joker in their 7-inch line, and we'll check them out with these figures shortly. In the meantime, let's take a look at these guys. So, we have Batman, his big, bulky, weird Frank Miller looking self. He's got the giant bat symbol on the chest, battle damage on the chest, the shoulder. It looks like he's kind of angry, mouth open, like maybe he's screaming, short ears on the cowl, long flowing cape. Now these figures have some articulation, and it's not horrible. The head, of course, can rotate from side to side. That is one point of articulation. The shoulders are on ball joints. They go out that far, up about that much. That is 3 points of articulation. He's got a waist swivel. That is #4. And the legs go forward that far, and back not very much. So he has a total of 6 points of articulation. Also some battle damage on his knee here. I like the sculpting, the wrinkles in his outfit, the pouches on utility belt. It's a pretty good looking figure considering the scale. And then we also have the Joker. This is the Joker in that very signature look from the Dark Knight Returns in his white suit with a purple shirt underneath. Big smiling face. He looks almost hideous. And Frank Miller's art made pretty much all the characters in Dark Knight Returns look hideous, and that's part of sort of the charm and stylization of the book. Big, giant, bulky upper torso. He has the same points of articulation as Batman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't need to go over that with every single figure here. Pretty standard. But like I said, for the scale, they look pretty damn good. And a closer look at this Batman figure. The wrinkles in his outfit, the battle damage. I mean, don't get me wrong, if this is a 7-inch figure, I would say it's kind of crappy, but for this small scale, the detailing is really not bad. I mean, you can see all the way around. It has a good amount of detail. 3-inch scale figures are usually very basic, crappy, and plain. These are nicer than I expected. And the same closer look at the Joker. It just looks like the mascara around his eyes is bleeding, coming out. I don't know, it just looks kind of weird. He has a big, giant, open-mouth smile that looks very appropriate on this Joker figure. big sort of blocky torso, the white suit, signature to The Dark Knight Returns. Now let's check out the height of these figures. And they're supposed to be 3-inch tall page punchers. From bottom to the top of the head, staying about probably about 3.1 inches tall. And it goes the same on both these figures. So I don't think I need to go over the articulation and height of the other figures, as they're going to be pretty much the same. Here's a look at this battle damaged Batman next to the clean, non-battle damaged version of the Dark Knight Returns Batman, wearing the exact same suit. No oval, blue and gray, Dark Knight Returns Batman. And then here's a look at both the McFarlane DC Multiverse and Mafex versions of the Batman, the Dark Knight Returns battle damaged Batman from the Dark Knight Triumphant. Now, many different companies have made Dark Knight Returns Batman figures, but these are the only two, or I guess if we count the little one, 3 battle damage versions from the Dark Knight Triumphant. Here are all the different 3-inch page puncher Batman figures that McFarlane has made, and technically, these guys are also Batman. We have Red Death, Murder Machine, and then on the far right, Drowned. Those are all actually Bruce Wayne. Evil version of Bruce Wayne for the Dark Multiverse. In the center, we have Thomas Wayne as Batman from Flashpoint, and next to him, the Terry McGinnis Batman from Batman Beyond. Technically, all Batman, 3 of which are actually Bruce Wayne. And here's this small version of the Dark Knight Returns Joker, next to some larger versions by Mattel, McFarlane, DC Direct, and Mafex. These are all specifically wearing that signature white suit from the Dark Knight Returns. And here are the 2 different 3-inch page puncher Joker figures McFarlane has made so far. One for the Dark Knight Returns, and one, I believe, from the Rebirth comics. So these figures come with absolutely no accessories, but they do come with a comic, a display stand for the comic, and a bookmark, which doubles up as a bookmark, and it'll support your comic if you have it on display. This is Batman The Dark Knight Returns number 2, which was a 4-issue miniseries. It has been collected into the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel many a time. The second book is called Batman The Dark Knight Triumphant. So let's take a closer look. He has that very, very stylized look. He looks hideous. He looks disgusting. He looks like he has warts or growths all over his face. I guess that's just where he got beat up. He's battle damaged. You can see his shoulders exposed. Cuts in the other shoulder. Cuts through the bat symbol. Pouch utility belt. His knuckles are even exposed. His leg. It looks cool. That is that signature Frank Miller art. Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns. It's very, very stylized and almost disgusting. On the back, symbol says DC. This is a reprint of the Dark Knight Triumphant. You can see an advertisement for some McFarlane, Batman the Animated Series, DC Direct stuff. Pretty cool. As we go inside the book, this is book 2, Commissioner Gordon. Carrie Kelly first suiting up as Robin. Looking fantastic. The mutants, reporters, all this good stuff. Love that scene where Batman takes out those mutants threatening the baby. They even kill their own people trying to get at Batman. This has the Bat Tank. He takes out the mutant leader, I think, twice in this book. That signature pose of Batman standing like that, ready to fight. The Dark Knight Returns. Now, this is pretty weird on this page. You can see Batman punching the mutant leader. Something's falling off of him. And the next page is the exact same thing. So they screwed up. They screwed up pretty bad. This reprint, they have the same page duplicated right across from each other. Mutant leader breaking Batman's arm, and the mutant leader breaking Batman's arm again. He, of course, does take out the mutant leader. He throws something on his face that sort of engulfs him and causes him to pass out. Later, they release him from jail, and he fights the mutant leader again. And this time, he takes him down himself, no help, and pretty much disbands the mutant gang. Setting up issue number 3. It's a really, really good book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. The animated movie is very good as well, but not nearly as good as the original book. In addition to that, we have this bookmark here. As you can see, it's really just sort of DC comic stuff in the background. It's done in that McFarlane DC Multiverse style. It says DC at the top, McFarlane Toys at the bottom. If you're a comic reader like I am, you can use a bookmark from time to time. on the back side. It sort of explains as a bookmark, and you can use it as a bookmark, and you can also use it to sort of support the comic, insert it into the stand, and sort of help keep the comic upright, because a comic is just paper, and it will tend to try to fall over if you just stick it up like that. And then we have the stand. The stand comes in two separate pieces. When put together, it looks like this. This one says Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, so you know it's for this comic. You have this sort of area here you can slide the comic into. So you basically take it, put the comic in here, about like this. And this one's a little bit thicker, so it stands up okay. But if you want to support the comic, take the bookmark, sort of insert it like so, and that'll help sort of support it from falling back. It doesn't really stop it from falling forward, though. But like I said, this book is a little bit thicker than your average comic and stands up pretty nicely by itself. And here's a look at the comic displayed in that little stand. It's a cool idea. Personally, I'm going to put this comic on the shelf. I have no intention of displaying it like this. And I've heard a lot of people say if you bag and board it with a cardboard sleeve, plastic sleeve, cardboard at the back, it'll stand up a lot better. And that makes perfect sense. The bookmark there prevents it from going back, but doesn't prevent it from leaning forward. And if you leave your book like this forever, it'll get a little bit warped and damaged. And then here's the second grouping of figures. This is from Dark Knight's Metal, starring mainly the Batman Who Laughs and a bunch of evil Batmen from the Dark Multiverse. On the left we have Murder Machine, and that's pretty much a Batman Cyborg hybrid. And then we have Drowned, which is a gender-swapped Batman-Aquaman hybrid. And I believe her real name was Bryce Wayne, which is probably pronounced Bruce Wayne. So let's take a closer look. Just like the other figures, these are 3 inches tall and have 6 points of articulation. You can see Murder Machine. It's a Batman-looking outfit, but some hints of Cyborg along the way. Those very prominent shoulder pads, the blue lines all over his suit. And then we have the Drowned. She's got like one eye missing, big scar going through it, a little sort of fake eye on top of there. You can see her necklace, clothing, it's all sort of ripped and tattered up. A little corset on there too. Here's a closer look at the Murder Machine figure. He has that bat symbol on his chest, prominent shoulder pads, and blue lines, kind of like the New 52 going all through the figure. It is still a pretty good looking figure, pretty good looking version of Murder Machine, Cyborg, and Batman put together. And then we have the Drowned, Batman and Aquaman, but a female version. Bruce Wayne, still. She looks good, hair sort of flowing in the water. You can see the sort of Batman cowl on there. Now let's check out the comic. This is the Dark Knight's Metal number 2. I believe it was a mini-series lasting maybe 6 issues. I do have the original versions of this, unlike the Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight's Metal, number 2. You can see the Trinity, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman in their rebirth outfits. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, great combination of modern comics. A bunch of evil characters trying to pull them into this sort of ball of energy. Back, just as DC. On the inside, same advertisements. And here we go into the comic. You can see you got Clayface there. Looks like maybe Superman punched a hole through Batman. Turned out it was actually Clayface. That's kind of cool. Batman in his signature rebirth look. You can tell the belt, the bat symbol. Oop, look at that. Some pretty cool stuff going on in this comic. Looks like we even have Ra's al Ghul there. I don't know what is going on here. It looks like a baby version of Darkseid. I don't know. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Robin Crows, Court of Owls. And bam! The Dark Knight's Metal team. We have the Drowned, Devastator, Murder Machine, the Batman Who Laughs, his Robin Crows, Merciless, Red Death, Dawnbreaker, and in the back, Barbados. Very cool image. And then here's the bookmark and stand. The stand comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it's like this. And it is the exact same bookmark. And here's a stand, which is also the same, except that it says Dark Knight's Metal on the front. Once again, insert your comic inside of here, and you can use the bookmark to sort of support it. This comic is a little bit more flimsy. It's leaning forward, worse than the Dark Knight Returns. As you can kind of see, it's totally leaning forward. And if I put the bookmark in the back, it would not help stop that from happening. It would simply stop it from leaning back, which it's already not doing. I don't even have the bookmark in here right now. Of course, I wanted to. See, there it goes all the way down. If I wanted to, I could put the bookmark into the front, but then what's the point of displaying this? It sort of blocks the whole comic. Yes, I can bag and board it, but then it's going to have that shiny glare on it, etc., etc. Lucky for me, I don't want to display my comics this way. I want to take them, put them on the shelf with my original issues, put this in a big box of stands, and use this for an actual bookmark for my comics. Here's a look at McFarlane's 3-inch Murder Machine, next to McFarlane's 7-inch version of Murder Machine, and then McFarlane's 3-inch Page Puncher Drowned, next to their 7-inch version. I really enjoy their Dark Knight's metal figures. The 7-inch ones are excellent. Here's a look at the entire 3-inch Dark Knight's metal collection. We have Murder Machine, The Drowned, The Batman Who Laughs, and Red Death. Now, at this point, I don't really think they're going to complete the team. They're not going to give us Merciless, and Devastator, and Dawnbreaker. I mean, it's possible, but it seems like the 3-inch line has really lost steam. This is probably the first release to come out in well over a year, probably 2 years. Here are these 3-inch Page Punchers, next to the most recent one that came out. This one actually came in the 7-inch line. It was part of a 3-pack. Batman versus King Kong, and they made Batman in both the 3-inch and 7-inch scale, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. And the most recent 3-inch figure before that was Blue Beetle. I swear that thing came out about 3 years ago. It's been a while since they've made more 3-inch figures. Yes, they did some Transformers and G.I. Joe and Spawn stuff, but I'm talking DC Page Puncher 3-inch figures, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's kind of cool to have these little small guys. Sometimes they can be used with figures from the multiverse, like Anti-Monitor, and you can have all these small Justice League figures fighting them, and it can be kind of cool. I would assume the line is probably not doing very well, and that's why it's been so long since they made a release. I wouldn't be surprised if these never show up in stores and are simply McFarlane Toy Store exclusives. Here's the entire collection of 3-inch Page Punchers. We have a total of 21 figures so far, most of which are Batman, and I'm okay with that. But we could definitely use the rest of the Justice League at least. And I kind of hope they're making more of these, but if they didn't, I wouldn't shed any tears. So overall, this is a cool wave of Page Punchers. Getting a reprint of the Batman The Dark Knight Returns #2 is really cool. And getting little figures of that, also pretty cool. Getting a reprint of The Dark Knight's Metal #2, not quite as cool, as that issue is a lot easier to get. But getting those 2 figures, it's kind of cool too. And rounding out the Dark Knight's Metal team would be cool, but I don't think they'll ever actually complete the team. And hell, it looks like they'll never actually complete the Justice League either, even though they're pretty damn close. Wonder Woman's about the only one we're actually missing. And come to think of it, Drowned here is actually the first female 3-inch Page Puncher they've made. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure and comic videos from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.